Hello to my fellow history lovers and people that think if I learn something new, it'll be a good day. So yesterday was a great day for me. I got this beautiful, beautiful bouquet from my dear friend Kathy. Thank you, Kathy, and also thank you to your husband, Gary. And Gary, thank you also for your service to our country, for watching my videos, and also, who knows, in the new year, maybe you'll get a Packers victory over the Bears. We don't know. Anyway, the second part of yesterday being so wonderful was I was at a bookstore called The Frugal Muse, and I got this amazing book it's by Andrea Wulf, called The Founding Gardeners. And it, of course, combines two of my favorite loves, gardening and the founders. And this first chapter talks about how gardening really helped Washington get through some pretty tough times. So I'll just read to you a little passages. The first one, it says, by the summer of 1776, the prospects of victory were slim. The commander-in-chief, General George Washington, had less than half the manpower, with his numbers declining even further as smallpox spread through the camps. Many of his officers had yet to experience the field of battle, and those who had certainly never seen warships as menacing as those approaching New York. The combined firepower of just 5 of these was enough to outgun all of the American cannons. And then a little bit later it says, so in all of this craziness, Washington sat in the flicker of candlelight with his quill and wrote a long letter to who? To whom? To his estate manager, where he actually writes about, as the city braces itself, he pondered the voluptuous blossom of rhododendron, the sculptural flowers of mountain laurel, and the perfect pink of a crabapple. And then a little bit later, it's now December of 1776, and he writes, I tremble for Philadelphia, and this part really made me smile, but a few lines later, he wrote in the same letter, it has run through my head that I have heard some objections to the sycamore tree. So mind on both. And then lastly, and I think this sums it up, it said, Washington always longed for letters from his estate manager because they included details of how his grounds were progressing, from digging up flower beds to the establishment of groves. Even during the terrible winter at Valley Forge, 2 years later, when his army was hungry and sick, Washington urged Lund to continue work on the estate. And he writes, and I think this is the heart of it, the flower gardens, etc., were the principal objects I have in view during my troubles. It was almost as if Washington escaped the trials of war by imagining fields of healthy corn swaying in the wind and thinking of the promises of spring when, quote, buds of every kind of tree and shrub are swelling. So thanks for letting me share.